Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm using a stand more or less. If you are new here, my name is Jason Kwame Apietu, a software engineer based in Ghana. And over here I just share a bit of my experience and my journey through software engineering or the tech space in general. Yeah, so this is just basically some thoughts that I've had that I just want to share out there. It's not anything in particular that I'm going to say, but a group of general things. So some people think that after school, the best route is to go for masters, then into the industry, especially for tech. And others also think um, after school, the best route is to enter into the job force and get experience. Then you'll be great in tech. Well, the truth is, there's no particular way to be there or to be great in tech because God works in mysterious ways. For someone, the person will make it through the education side, and for others, the person will make it through the job side. So for the job side, we know like these greats, the Zuckerberg, the Bill Gates, who dropped out and made it big. Others also went through the whole shebang, did the master's, did the PhD, and I'm making it big right now. So you don't necessarily have to compare yourself to people who have done a particular thing. Just see what is in your heart and what you want to do and move forward with that. And I believe that's what will lead you to where you have to be. Also, these kind of things, making such decisions, I get it, they are quite tough. So it's best to have someone like a mentor, someone who is a bit ahead of you, so you could learn from the person, someone you look up to, basically. I have some friends that are also in this tech space, however, they are continuing with schooling. For me personally, after my university, my first degree, I entered into the workforce. I'm still in the workforce though. I'm still considering going back or staying in. It's not something I've fully settled on yet. However, it's something I'm still deliberating, but I'm still in the workforce at the moment. So, let's say you want to enter into the workforce, assuming you are done with the schooling and everything. Want to enter into the workforce and you're not sure of where to go to, especially in tech. Well, I'll say try everything when you're starting out. Try front end, try back end, try QA, try PM, try well anything you can get your hands on. Data science, machine learning. Well, all these things you need to have like some basics of understanding of tech, especially the technical side. You need to understand some basics of coding here and there, but don't necessarily have to understand coding for every aspect of tech, like the PM and um, PO and those kind of administrative kind of work. You don't necessarily have to understand the code for those things. Say you are someone who wants to get into the tech space, however, you feel you don't have the right machine, you are less privileged, you don't believe that you'll be able to make it. Let me tell you a story. So, there was a little boy in a family of five. He was a second child, and all he wanted to do was to become a mechanical engineer because he liked to tinker with stuff. He liked to disassemble stuff and bring them back together. This young boy and his family were not necessarily well to do in the beginning. They had the privilege of owning a couple of desktop computers in their home, so at least he was exposed to computers and tech in general. However, when entering into the university or getting to university days, his machine broke down and they couldn't get a replacement because they were not liquid at that point. So he had a friend that he used to go visit from time to time. Then one time he saw a laptop in the friend's house, an old laptop. It looked quite ragged, but it didn't look like anyone was using it at the time. Then asked his friend if anyone was using it just to confirm, and the friend said no, no one was using it. So he asked if he could take it since it's basically there, and the young boy is about to enter university, and he believes he needs a laptop to do assignments here and there, and to basically move about, maybe on maybe occasional movies here and there. No, you know. The young boy asked the friend, and the friend said, "Sure, you can take it since no one is using it, and it's basically just being there." So the young boy took the laptop, which was basically a 13-inch Dell beat up laptop with about 1 gig RAM and a very little storage. I've forgotten the details of the storage. So this young boy, excited, took it back home, turned it on, realized the screen was a bit cracked, but at least he could see something, so it wasn't that much of a big deal. After a while with tinkering with it, the screen was filled with ink. But lucky for him, since he had an old desktop, so he had a monitor, he connected the laptop to the monitor and was able to use it. Then this young boy learned of software engineering from a friend of his, and that friend was into it and told him about how fun it is to create something new and to create something, or to be able to build something with your hands, more or less. So it intrigued this young boy, and the young boy started doing research on this stuff. After doing some research, learned of HTML, which is hypertext markup language, and started building some little things from it. Learned how to build a form, learned how to use the lists on ordered lists and ordered lists, learned how to do some H stuff and some basic formatting in HTML. Then he moved to CSS. Then he started doing some colors here and there. I mean, they were not nice at first, but you get the point. He started learning some HTML here and there, started doing some things. Then he was like, these things are nice for viewing stuff, and he started getting hooked because he's seeing what he's doing is actually doing something with his hands, which he actually likes to do. He likes to build stuff. So he realized that he's building something with his hand and actually found it fun. So he decided to dive deeper into something that is more involving. So he started learning Python actually. So now he has HTML knowledge, CSS knowledge, and Python. However, he was learning the Python in isolation, not necessarily with HTML and CSS. Then he used the Python to build something like a little calculator app which worked in the terminal. So he was doing that. Then he went to the university. In the university, he got exposed to PHP through friends, got exposed to C, C++, Java, and he tinkered with them here and there. However, his heart was with PHP because it's blended well with his HTML and CSS to form the web. So he started doing that, got quite familiar, built a few stuff here and there, did something for his campus ministry. Then he learned Bootstrap, did a few things with it, understood databases, did a few things with it. Then he was getting high in the knowledge there. Then he learned databases and got some knowledge in there, did some few things here and there with them. Then had the opportunity to build an application for one of the halls in his university. So he used his knowledge and did that together with a friend. That friend actually brought that job to him so that they do together and get some money from it. So all that, he started getting into the software engineering thing. And sorry, I forgot to mention, he got computer science to do in the university. He didn't get mechanical engineering, which he wanted to do, by the way. Caveat. So after school, he stayed behind to do his national service on campus as a teaching assistant. Then after that point, he kept practicing his programming, his C, C++, his PHP, his HTML, CSS, Bootstrap. Then, lo and behold, through a friend, he got a tech job with a particular company, but it was for a sysops role. So he hadn't done sysops before, so he just started learning, did a few things here and there. But then he was itching to build something. He wanted to build, not necessarily monitor, because sysops is not necessarily building, but it's mostly about monitoring and reporting about stuff. So then he applied to a different place and actually got the role of a backend engineer with Node.js, which is JavaScript. How did he get that? So prior to this, he started learning JavaScript, then saw that there are many roles that needed Node.js and started learning them. Then he got more conversant with Node.js and more databases like Postgres and MongoDB. Then he applied twice actually to that job and got it on the second time. And after spending quite a few time there, learning more stuff, getting very conversant with programming, he applied to another company through some friends who told him about them. He actually got the role by the grace of God, and he's now doing well in the tech space. And that boy, or that young boy, is myself. So this is just a short story of how I entered into the tech space, or how I got introduced into it. From this short story I've said, you can see that you don't necessarily have to have a good or functioning laptop to start something. Something like HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, those very lightweight stuff. Even Python, you can do it with very low grade machines. You don't need high grade machines to do them. Also, for tech, you always have to be learning. For something like software engineering roles, you always have to be learning. I started with PHP, HTML, CSS, Bootstrap. Currently, I've added Tailwind, uh, JavaScript, Node.js, Express, React, so many other technologies to my stack. However, you don't necessarily have to have all these things chewed in your head. By the grace of God, we have the internet, and by the greater grace of God, we have AI. So you can always have the basics and have the fundamentals down. Then, when you need them, you just go have a refresher. It's not everything that will be in your head, and it's something that people understand, and your employers and those above you would understand that not everything will be in your head, because I don't expect you to have all the syntaxes of JavaScript, Python, PHP, Java, C, C++ in your head at all times. It doesn't make sense. So for something like software engineering, you don't necessarily have to chew everything. You just have to have the drive to learn and to keep learning, because it's quite a lot. I recently started learning headless CMS, and I spoke about it some time ago in a LinkedIn post. I learned Strapi, so it's a CMS, or basically a CMS is a software that sits between the front end and the database, and basically acts as your backend. So all you need to do is to connect the database to the CMS and use the CMS APIs to fetch data in your front end, and you can use the UI to actually input data so that you don't have to create a whole CMS for the backend. So I think it's very fun, very interesting. I also learned Next.js quite some time ago, and Next.js 15, and it's really interesting and really fun. My next goal is to learn Nest.js. I mean, as a backend engineer, primarily you would expect I'll learn Nest before learning Next. However, Nest is coming next. Huh? You get the point? Yeah, so I'm going to learn Nest next. Crazy. So React next, Express Nest. Well, yeah. So that's where my path is heading to, because I want to understand what Nest is and what it can be used for, how it can make my life more simpler. So basically, what I want to let you know is that the tech space is not something that is so odious. You don't need to start big. You can start small, start building small, start learning small. As you keep growing, just have that inquisitiveness about you to keep learning, to keep growing, to always trying to understand the technologies that are coming up. You don't have to chase new technology. However, understand where you are coming from, then get knowledge of what is actually happening on grounds, because most roles will actually be looking for those things. But something like PHP, people think PHP is dead. However, PHP is still living, it's still thriving. Laravel is still thriving. Yeah, I forgot to mention, I know Laravel too. I don't use it. I haven't used it in a long time. I think I forgot actually. My name is Jason Kwame Apietu, a software engineer, primarily a back engineer, but I can do both. So if you are starting and you need some help, some guidance into this tech space, you can feel free to hit me up on LinkedIn. My name is still Jason Kwame Apietu on there. I'd prefer LinkedIn as opposed to emails and phone calls and stuff. I think I'll be more focused on that side than other stuff. So yeah, if you want to reach out to me, just reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I'll do all to respond to you and help you. And I mean, just be open and be frank with how I've developed so far. Yeah, so thank you again for watching, and have a great one. You can do it. You are not too late. You can start today and still make it. I haven't made it yet, but I'm on my way to making it, and I believe I will make it. And you also have to believe you will. All right, see you in the next one.